Hi, I'm Steve Disch from Lakewood, Colorado, and I've built what I consider the ultimate GTO. Good.
Is this your car?
Yes, it is.
Did you make it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's good.
I made it, he painted it. Let me tell you a little bit about how I came up with this idea and how the car went together. I started with a 1964 Pontiac Le Mans convertible that I bought from a neighbor down the street and shopped for a wrecked 2006 GTO that I could use the motor and transmission from. I went and found the 2006 GTO in Seattle, Washington. Purchased it at an auction and dragged it home on a Penske truck and trailer and got it into the garage next to the 64 Le Mans, and I could tell right away that I wanted more than just the motor and transmission. The 2006 GTO had anti-lock brakes, it had four-wheel discs, it had a 400 horse LS2 motor, it had the 4-speed overdrive automatic transmission, just a number of features, the cruise control, the air conditioning, so many things that I wanted to incorporate into my 1964 pseudo GTO. So sitting in the garage, I started to get an idea that maybe instead of pulling all of these components off the 2006 GTO and hanging them on a 1964 chassis, that maybe I was better off taking the 2006 chassis, cutting the body off, and rebodying the whole project to look like a 1964. So that's the start of the project. I took the 2006 and I actually cut the entire body off, leaving nothing but the floor pan, the interior, and the drivetrain. Then I took the 1964 Le Mans off the frame and cut it into pieces. And I started welding the sheet metal of the 1964 body onto the chassis and floor pan of the 2006 GTO. It came with a host of problems, as you can imagine. Some of them were fit and finish. Some of them were somewhat insurmountable initially. I built the back half of the car centered around the rear axle, and then started to work my way forward. As I came forward on the car, I built the rocker panels, I built the windshield frame around the dash, I built a 1-inch tubular frame for the entire front end to sit on, built custom mounts for the bumpers, actually ended up modifying the body in some pretty significant ways to make the width and the wheelbase of the 2006 coincide with the body of the 1964. So let me show you a little more detail about how those things went together. The first thing I did was to take the back half of the 1964 body and try and build it down over the 2006 floor pan. I wanted to center the wheel opening in the back over the rear axle. So that was my guiding force. And I cut the floor out of the 64 and set it down over the 2006 until I could get it down to sit at the proper level, and then welded it all together to make a unibody 64. Then moving forward, the seats sit very low in the floor pan of the 2006, and they actually sit in a little box. And so I extended the rocker panels 2.5 inches to hide the view of that box from the side of the car. Once I did that, the fenders looked odd, and so what I did was to add extensions to the fenders from the bumpers, tapering them down to the new lower level of the new rocker panel. When I moved forward, I built the windshield frame on completely around the 2006 Dash, and then started to set the front end in place. Because the 64 and the 2006 don't match up, I built a subframe of 1-inch tubular steel that holds the fenders up at the proper height. Then I built custom mounts for the bumpers so that they come off of the bumper supports of the 2006, but tie into the 64 brackets. In order to make the wheelbase on the car fit the body, the 64 is actually 5 inches longer than the 2006 wheelbase. So I took a 1-inch piece out of the lip of the 64 fender and moved it back in the fender 5 inches and welded it back in. So the finished product has 5 inches less sheet metal back behind the tire and 5 inches more in front. This emblem that normally would sit below the body line didn't have enough sheet metal left to do so. So I mounted it above the body line on the fender.